One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, for some reason, we are here back again. Unpredictable. Happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves and having a fantastic morning so far. I definitely know the hell we are, man. We have a lot to get through this morning, as you guys can obviously tell. Let me go ahead and just run down what the title of today's show is. U.S.-Iran nuclear talks begin, which is a major W, by the way. That is fantastic.
Stupid.
And then we got Nancy Guthrie search latest, as well as U.S. drug boat strike again, and more. So let me go ahead and just chronologically tell you guys exactly what we're looking at. So this morning from yesterday, we're looking at a train derailment. Officials order shelter in place after explosive materials. And then we're going to be moving into an updated timeline in Nancy Guthrie's abduction case, and new info from the sheriff actually just came out yesterday evening. So we're going to be playing that for you guys. Then we have the White House briefing on Guthrie, DHS, and Iran, which, yes, that will be all regards to the whole, like Caroline Leavitt, the White House press briefing, all of that stuff. Then we have first responders on scene after fatal car into store collision in LA. So this is another one of those wild Los Angeles scenes. And I'm not really sure what the whole story of that is, but we're going to dive into it, obviously. Then we have police helicopter crashes after shootout in Arizona. 2 Arizona Department of Public Safety crew members were killed in a helicopter crash while responding to an active shooting incident in Flagstaff, Arizona. Man, that is fucking crazy. And by the way, Lucy just got home, so that's fantastic. You'll see her back here on the horizontal side. So she is back from the vet. That is fantastic news. All right, and then we have 2 killed after U.S. forces strike alleged drug boat in Eastern Pacific. U.S. Southern Command on Thursday confirmed another strike on alleged drug boat in the Eastern Pacific, which killed 2 people. And then we have another update on Nancy Guthrie as well, regards to the search. Feds do make an arrest, and there is a new ransom letter, and that's going to obviously be super interesting. And then regards to U.S.-Iran, just an hour ago, nuclear talks clear first hurdle, quote, good start. I'm not sure who said and claimed good start, but I'm sure it's someone of the Trump administration, I'm assuming. So, anyways, before we get all into it, make sure you guys come in and hit the like button. It helps out the show immensely. Absolutely free to do so, by the way. And if you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen and hit that subscribe button if you guys are new, because this is what we do Monday through Friday, man. Please consider becoming a member, though, because obviously, we do members only on Saturday morning, starting only at $3.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail. Make sure you guys follow me over there and direct message me. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. For the majority of you guys, I would say a good 95% of the IWF is in it, but I would like to make that number 100%. So make sure you guys get a link from one of the moderators, or hit the video description down below, and that's obviously where all the links are going to be. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And, of course, anything coming our way, we'll read out loud just like a super chat. I've got my emails up. So I very much appreciate your guys' engagement, man. All right, so you guys can see Lucy's running around. She's doing good, which is always a great sign. We got Naomi in the building, by the way. We got Crystal Kitten, Quick Shoe, Charles Darwin, my man, as well. By the way, I want to give a special shout-out to my man, Sick Bastard. I very much appreciate the raid this morning. Thank you for that, kind sir. Very honored to have the level of support that I do from all of you guys, man. Got Rabbit of Chaos, as well as Lappy, Jimmy Mac, good morning to you guys. Alfred Patterson, very much appreciate you guys for hanging out with us this morning. We got Virginia Chaos as well. Let's see, we got Dylan Patterson as well. We got the father-son duo in here currently. That's awesome. Great to see everyone. I'm scrolling down, trying to catch up with everybody. I'm super sorry. Moving as quickly as I possibly can, man. We got Mountain Woman as well. Good morning to you. And yes, I understand. And I agree, actually. Discord is the devil. That's facts. Sick Bastard saying like, sub, share, and donate. Yes, sir. I very much appreciate that as well. We got Jack Talcott in the building. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you. God bless you. And hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far as well. We're about to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and start off. The very first story of the day is a train derailment. Officials order, quote, shelter in place after explosive materials. They were kind of like, explosive material was all over the place. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it.
We are following some breaking news out of Connecticut, as there was a train derailment. This is from Fox 61, saying that officials say that 14 cars carrying a flammable fuel derailed, including...
It's kind of like a... It's a type of social media, but what it is people create their own servers, and then you go and there's like chat rooms and voice rooms and all of that within the server, which is actually really awesome if you're building a community and stuff like that. Those are fantastic for that.
5 that landed in a river nearby. Residents have been asked to shelter in place. Meanwhile, this is a live look right here from Waterford, Connecticut, which is just about an
Man, we got all the legends coming in. We got Stephanie coming in as well. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Hour away as we continue to learn more details. This is from Fox 61, as residents of Mansfield have been asked to shelter in place following that train derailment near Stafford Road. If you are familiar with that area, people living within half a mile of 1090 Stafford Road are currently being asked to shelter in place as we are learning more information.
So this is over in Mansfield, Connecticut.
The initial call to fire.
It says multiple cars derailed carrying propane.
And EMS came in at around 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Mansfield emergency officials and DEEP are on scene as they are responding to this derailment of 14 train cars, at least 5 of which have landed in a river. And those cars are carrying a flammable liquefied gas fuel. Meanwhile.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lappy, and everyone that helped me yesterday during my audio fuck up. Yeah, it's just, it's so strange because I didn't change anything. I didn't do anything. Software in the background just went crazy. So it's all because of you guys being patient and helping me through it yesterday. But yeah, I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to audio shit like that. lose my shit quickly.
Now, this is a social media post from Governor Lamont saying that I am in communication with our state emergency management and environment teams to assess any impacts regarding the train derailment involving hazardous materials in Mansfield. We'll continue to provide updates on the situation.
So the governor even came out and spoke on this, and then it looks like we got authorities coming out and speaking as well, and they have a whole Q&A, I'm assuming that's what that is. We're not going to listen to that. I just want to show you guys what is happening. And then real quick, let's go ahead and get into the updated timeline of Nancy Guthrie abduction case. New info from the sheriff has just come out yesterday. So let's go ahead and listen to this because we have been following this story. And this is actually a fairly short update, by the way.
See that process, that review, and that questioning of, all right, what is it we're looking at? So I'll go over it with you. You can see it on the board there, but at about 5:32 p.m., these are approximate times. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to her local family's home for dinner and playing games with the family, and just visiting. At 9:48 p.m., which is very consistent to what we were told by the family, that Nancy was dropped off at home, and we know that because we have a garage door open at approximately, I can't stress that enough, at approximately 9:48 p.m.
It'd be really nice if they had like a timeline that obviously that he's reading from. It'd be nice for the camera to pan over of like a projector or something like that showing the timeline. Real quick, we got Seymour Cannabis in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you. As well as Gary. Good morning. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Friday's morning so far.
At 9:50 p.m., that garage door closes, which is that time we assume that Nancy's home and probably going to bed. Sunday morning, early morning at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects.
Wow, that's fucking super strange. 1:47 in the morning, now the Ring doorbell disconnects from the server.
At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available.
Oh, shit. So it showed that there was movement, and then they went to go to the server to look at that footage, and there was no footage. Oh, wow.
They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself, kind of. It just...
Yeah, but you just saw it. It just happened. The subscription, you don't need the subscription unless it'll hold like the last 7 days or whatever. It'll do, at bare minimum, I think it's a couple days.
Kind of loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that. We'll do all...
Yo, TNT, good morning. Hey, Mike, did you know that the government shut down the Signal app for USS Eisenhower? No, I had no idea. You're going to have to elaborate more because I'm interested in what is going on there. But good morning.
But that's what it says. So it detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video. But we're not giving up on that. 2:28. Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone.
What? It showed that her pacemaker disconnected from the phone that same day?
And at 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy and discovers her missing. And at 12:03 p.m.,
No, I know what Signal is. I just didn't know that they blocked like the reason for that. I guess they just didn't want information going out. I have Signal. I use Signal. But yeah, definitely interesting.
When it's called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I believe it's about approximately 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later, our patrol teams arrive. They see the scene, and we start our response with our search and rescue teams and our...
Shit, man, I'm super sorry for seeing this a little late, but my man Virginia Chaos coming in on the Cash App, by the way, saying get a beer on me this weekend, bro. Hashtag Virginia Chaos. My man, thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate you attending to the money part. You know what I mean? Let's just get that over with.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit.
Denied.
It's worth asking, though. You know, it's worth it. But hey, Virginia Chaos, thank you for that. I definitely will get myself a beer with that.
Detectives from homicide and various units. In fact, every unit here, I think somebody questioned, how come there's an ICAC member out here or this member? Everybody in our criminal investigations team is a part of this team and part of this investigative effort. I think with that, let me make sure. Now, I want to clarify some things that I may have already done, but yeah, I've gone over with the blood at the front door, the doorbell camera. It was removed, we know that, but we're not confirming that any cameras were smashed or destroyed around the house. I don't know where that came from, but that's something we're not confirming. The car.
By the way, that's really good news, Prez, because it's super frustrating to me. Sometimes it works for you guys to double tap the screen, and then other times you go to double tap the screen and it doesn't work. So that shit is frustrating. So thank you guys for hitting that like button and double tapping the screen on the vertical side. Shit, you know what I mean? All right, here we go.
The car that was at the home, it's just standard investigative practices. It's part of the search warrant scene, court orders. We pull it out of there and do our scene processing with the vehicle. Uber, we did speak to a driver because Nancy, we learned, had been taken the Uber to the family residence, the daughter, for dinner. And we located that driver and spoke with them and got that information. The house, you guys got this, I think, conducting follow-up.
And this is almost over, by the way. It's a very, actually, short and consolidated update, actually.
I think you said somebody had mentioned that they saw a team out there again last night or yesterday.
Thank you for that, Dylan. I'm definitely having a fantastic day so far. Thank you for that. Hopefully you will as well, and hopefully you are so far.
And that's just, again, what I was talking about before. Our partners wanted a chance to see it and examine things themselves, and more importantly, it's just we're constantly following up on things and go, hey, what about this? So we want to go back and check on some things.
Looks like there should be only one more update because there's only 1 minute left.
Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that.
So there is no forced entry that they have observed of the house?
At all. Whether it's forced entry or not forced entry, that is something we're just...
Oh, it's just irrelevant. I understand.
Not discussing, so I don't know where anybody got that information.
He's just saying that we never put out that kind of information, so it's irrelevant.
I think I am about done with my piece of this. I'm going to introduce...
Well, that's good. That means we got the timeline there. All right, we're going to go over to the White House press briefing. Let's go ahead and bring this up and see what Caroline Leavitt had to say yesterday. We're not going to listen to this whole thing, obviously, because these things go on for about 40 minutes, or if not longer. But we're not going to play the whole thing today.
Situation. The president, as you all know, spoke directly with Savannah yesterday and told her that the federal government is here to help. Any requests that are made by state and local officials in the search of Miss Guthrie will absolutely be accommodated. I spoke with the FBI directly about that today as well. And our hearts and our prayers are with Savannah and her entire...
Was there, Charles? Oh, shit.
...family as they search for her dear mother. I also have a quick scheduling announcement for all of you. Tonight at 7 p.m. during prime time, President Trump, Dr. Oz, and National Design Studio Director Joe Gebbia will officially unveil Trump RX, a state-of-the-art website for...
Okay, real quick. Trump RX is actually going to be a fantastic for our medications. This program is probably one of the biggest W's in the medical, like on the insurance, quote unquote, side of things, where we're going to be able to get medications for a lot cheaper than they ever were before. I mean, even getting it down by 0.5% is normally a win in this medical industry bullshit. But now we're going to see medications come down by, 100%, like they're going to come down by like 80, 90%. It's like, holy shit, dude.
American consumers to purchase low-cost prescription drugs.
Holy shit. Real quick, this is a major one, by the way. This is a whale, what I would call. Sterling Wheel coming in with the $42, but it's low-key, it's $4.20. That's what he's getting at. Saying, please like, share, subscribe, and support the IWF, man. Thank you so much, bro. I am definitely very honored to be able to do this, man. And thank you for supporting the mission and what we do here, man. I'm very appreciative. And then Sterling Wheel just had to top it off, by the way, by gifting out a membership, not only helping me, but helping someone in the Breakfast Club, man. I'm very appreciative of that. Great to see FAFO in the building as well. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. And Sterling, thank you once again. That is humongous, bro. Thank you again.
This historic announcement will save millions of Americans their hard-earned money. So make sure to tune in tonight, and we will see all of you in the news media there. President Trump promised to restore law and order to the United States of America, and newly released data proves he is delivering overwhelmingly on this promise. A study from the Council on Criminal Justice shows that the murder rate across America's largest cities plummeted in 2025 to its lowest level since at least 1900. Again, let me repeat, to put this in perspective, this marks the largest single-year drop in murders in recorded history. This dramatic decline.
What's up, Brother Kerry? Great to see you in the chat, my man.
Is what happens when a president secures the border, fully mobilizes federal law enforcement to arrest violent criminals, and aggressively deports the worst of the worst illegal aliens from our country. The numbers don't lie. Under President Trump in 2025, the FBI increased violent crime arrests by 100% compared to the prior year. The FBI also conducted more than 67,000 arrests from Inauguration Day 2025 to January 20th, 2026, which is 197% more arrests than the same period previously. The FBI also disrupted 1,800 gangs in criminal enterprises, a 210% increase from the year prior. The FBI has arrested 1,700 child predators and more than 300 human traffickers across the country. Since President Trump took office, 6 of the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives have been captured. Right here in our nation's capital, where you all live, so you know it well, whether you choose to report it or not, the president's efforts to make D.C. safe and beautiful.
What's up, Doomerang? Great to see you in the chat.
Have worked. As of last week, D.C. homicides were down 62%. Motor vehicle theft down 53%. And 2025 had the fewest violent gun crimes of any year of available data in our nation's capital.
Real quick, just friendly reminder, we've got 110 people in here right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap that screen on the vertical side. Again, you don't have to like all the craziness that's happening in the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you.
For more proof that these tough on crime efforts are working, look at the president's Make Memphis Safe Again campaign. As of last week, there have been nearly 5,600 arrests made, and aggravated assaults are down 53%. Sexual assaults are down 53%, and robberies are down 70%.
Hold on. I see it in the chat. I'm going to give it to you. Here we go. Boom. Dunskies.
Again, that's just in the city of Memphis. 5,600 arrests have taken place because of this president and his Homeland Security Task Force that has surged into Memphis at the request of both the governor and the mayor in that city. A Democrat mayor, I will add. These are the results that can happen when Democrats and Republicans, when the federal government and state and local officials work together. And that's what Trump wants to see to improve public safety across our country. When you have a leader like President Trump who empowers good cops to be cops and to arrest bad criminals, American communities will become safer. Many of the media outlets in this room have expressed shock and confusion at these remarkable statistics. The New York Times declared that, quote,
"Good morning, Pablo.
No one knows for sure what's behind the staggering drop in the murder rate. The reason is very clear. It is President Trump's leadership and his unwavering commitment to law and order. The drop in crime..."
Man, it's got to be appropriate timing, Jimmy Mack. It's got to be appropriate timing.
...is more proof that all that is required to improve public safety on our streets is a leader with the will to do what is necessary to protect law-abiding American citizens. The terror and chaos that was unleashed under Democrat rule is a choice. It's a choice to put violent criminals ahead of innocent Americans, a choice to force us all to live in fear because of soft on crime, liberal politicians, prosecutors, and judges
Oh, shit.
who lack the basic willingness to do their jobs and put dangerous people behind bars. On November 5th,
What's up, Miss Lotus, as well? Good morning and happy Friday, TGIF.
2024, the American people made a resounding choice that they've had enough of that, and that's precisely why they reelected President Trump. So even as Democrats and the liberal media are engaged in hysteria about this administration arresting and deporting violent, criminal, illegal aliens, the undeniable truth is that deporting these individuals is one of the primary reasons why America's streets are safer today than they were 1 year ago when
I would agree.
President Trump assumed office. Former President Biden and the Democrats left our borders wide open, and President Trump and the brave men and women of ICE are removing these dangerous criminals. So here are just a few recent examples. Number one, a Venezuelan national and active Tren de Aragua gang member with a rap sheet including homicide, assault, child cruelty, domestic violence, and property damage. This
Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far as well.
is an individual I can assure you not a single one of you in this room would want in your neighborhood, whether you admit it or not. He
What's up,
entered
Tootie
the
Bug?
U.S. in 2022, and he was released into our country by the Biden administration. He is no longer here, thanks to President Trump. An El Salvadorian national and known MS-13 associate, previously convicted of homicide, conspiracy to commit homicide, and kidnapping, arrested for arson, battery, armed carjacking, and assault.
This ain't either or. This is a factual channel. But if you want to know how I morally align, I'm on the conservative side.
He entered illegally in 2016, was released by the Obama administration, and ICE just arrested him on January 8th, 2026. This example shows you how many criminal illegal aliens have been roaming American streets freely because of a lack of attention to this matter from the previous administration, and President Trump is cleaning up their mess. A Cuban national and blood gangs member convicted of multiple homicides and robbery. ICE arrested him on October 27th and removed him on January 6th, 2026. Arresting and deporting these types of illegal criminals is precisely what the American people voted for. And despite desperate recent attempts by Democrats and those in the media to undermine the president's deportation agenda, these efforts are failing. Brand new Harvard-Harris polling shows overwhelming support for President Trump's efforts to protect law-abiding citizens from criminal illegal aliens. Nearly 8 in 10 Americans say criminal illegal aliens should be deported. A solid majority also support deporting all illegal aliens, regardless of additional crimes. And more than 2 in 3 Americans back the Trump administration's common sense requirement that state and local officials cooperate with federal authorities and work to hand over criminal illegal aliens in local jails for swift deportation. Finally, to prevent another invasion of millions of illegal aliens from happening again, President Trump and Secretary Noem delivered the most secure border in American history. 0 illegal aliens were released into our homeland over the past 9 months. This is a truly remarkable achievement. Again, 0 illegal aliens released into the country in 9 months. This is staggering, and it deserves more attention from all of you. Overall, Customs and Border Protection recorded the lowest total encounters in agency history. Daily encounters have fallen by 95%, averaging just 250 apprehensions at the southern border a day. This is compared to over 5,100 daily apprehensions during the Biden years. It's a night and day difference because we finally have a president who enforces the law and lets our law enforcement do their noble jobs of protecting our homeland. When President Trump campaigned on making America safe again, this is exactly what he meant, and the numbers and the results speak for themselves. With that, I will open it up to questions today. We're going to start with Daniel Baldwin from One America.
And we're only going to take a couple questions, by the way. We're not going to deep dive into 25 minutes of questions. We're going to take a couple of questions, and then we need to move on.
The News, who is here religiously covering the White House beat every day, so it's good to see you in a chair instead of standing up today. Daniel, thanks for being here, and why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. It's an honor and a privilege to represent One American News in the new media seat. First question on the DHS funding bill. Funding runs out in the better part of 8 days or so. Democrats, at least verbally, are very dug in. What does the White House believe their end goal is when it comes to this funding fight, when it comes to immigration policy at large? What is their end goal when they're dug in a position like this at this point in time?
Well, the president has 2 end goals. One is to obviously keep the government funded and open, and that includes the Department of Homeland Security, which does not just touch upon ICE and Border Patrol, but also FEMA, the United States Coast Guard, the United States Secret Service. These are brave public servants who work to protect our homeland. The president wants these individuals to get paid. Secondly, when it comes to any discussions about immigration policy, the president is never going to waver in his commitment to allow immigration enforcement efforts in this country and to support ICE and Border Patrol and the deportation of illegal alien criminals. I know Senator Schumer and Leader Guthrie sent over a very long list of demands, some of which the administration is willing to.
Real quick, got to do a nice little interjection here because my man Alfred Patterson sending in $5 on the Cash App. saying, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you so much for the $5 on the Cash App. I very much appreciate that. It adds up, my man.
Discuss. Others don't seem like they are grounded in any common sense, and they are non-starters for this administration. But we're not going to negotiate policy from the podium. I'm going to allow the president to do that, and any final decisions that are made will be made ultimately by him.
Yeah, but Gigi, in all fairness to her, I do have it sped up 1.25 times because we try to condense everything down into a single hour instead of live streaming for 5 hours straight. I try to condense everything down into a single hour from the last 24 hours leading up to current time right now. So anyways.
But rest assured, he is never going to allow law enforcement in the jobs that they do, the important jobs that they do, to be undermined.
And secondly, Caroline, the Department of Homeland Security put out a tweet about a part of an hour ago alleging that an illegal alien was involved in a major car wreck in Indiana, killing 4 people, and they allege that the suspect in question came in under the CBP-1 app under the Biden administration and received a commercial driver's license from the state of Pennsylvania. What is the White House's reaction to a situation like this, and what is the White House doing to crack down on cases like this where illegal aliens are obtaining commercial driver's licenses?
Yes, this is another abhorrent example of the border crisis over the past 4 years, and it again exemplifies why the administration must continue and will always continue to fully back and support ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement in their removal of illegal alien criminals from our country. For those who don't know, and all of you should report on it, 4 Americans were tragically killed and lost their lives this week yet again from an illegal alien, an individual who was paroled into the country by the Biden administration using the CBP-1 app, which they created like it was
I'm surprised I haven't heard that story until now. Damn.
Magic pass for Disneyland. That's not how immigration in this country should work. And this illegal alien from Kyrgyzstan
What's up,
was
Rebecca?
traveling on an Indiana highway, and he failed to brake for a slowed semi-truck in front of him. He swerved into the lane, and he crashed into a van carrying 15 passengers, and 4 people were killed in that crash. This is another tragedy that could have been prevented if not for the wide open borders from the previous administration. That's why we now have a secure border. That's why this administration will continue to deport illegal aliens from our country. Thank you for being here. Garrett.
John, thank you for your comments and your prayers for
Don't worry about it, Frank. We're actually moving on here after this next question right here.
the Guthrie family. I have 2 questions related to the president's interview with NBC yesterday.
Sure.
At one point in the interview, the president said that he believes states are accumulating the votes for who wins the election. He says if they, meaning the states, can't do it honestly and can't be done properly and timely, then something else has to happen. What did he mean by that? Is he suggesting that the federal government count votes in elections?
What the president is suggesting, and I just spoke to him about this, is that Republicans and Democrats in Congress should pass the Save America Act. This piece of legislation is going to ensure that states are abiding by federal election law by removing 89% of our country agree with. So that's what the president is talking about. Again, I just spoke with him about this, and he's calling on both Republicans and Democrats to send the Save America Act, to pass it into law and to send it to his desk as quickly as possible.
The Save Act doesn't say anything about who counts votes, which has always been a state, a local, a county function. Why does he keep talking about somebody else, presumably the federal government, counting votes?
Because the SAVE Act directs states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls. And we know in states across the country, the president is right to point this out, in states like California or in places like New York City, non-citizens are allowed to vote in state and local elections. And the federal government should absolutely do away with that. I don't think a single person in this room, if you really are being honest with yourselves, should agree that non-citizens should vote in American elections, no matter where that election
Exactly.
is up and down the ticket.
Facts, though.
And so this is a piece of federal legislation that will help states ensure the integrity and the sanctity of their elections, and that's what the president wants. Peter.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump posted about Nancy Guthrie that he is directing all federal law enforcement to be at the families and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. What should we expect to see from the federal government in coming days in the search to find Nancy Guthrie?
It's a very good question, Peter, and it's why I was on the phone with the FBI earlier this morning to ask that. And what they told me is that the FBI, again, is at the disposal of the state and local government. Whatever personnel or assets or resources that the state and local authorities and police need will be granted to them at the direction of the president, the FBI director, and the attorney general.
A different law enforcement issue. The FBI just found 1,000 samples inside an illegal biolab in Las Vegas. It is linked to a different biolab that was previously raided. There are ties to China. What does the president think the CCP might be up to here?
Okay, we're just going to allow this last question because I didn't catch it quick enough. So
I haven't spoken to him about this specific investigation from the FBI, but I'm happy to, and I'm sure he's very glad that this is something the FBI discovered, and we'll make sure anyone who is involved in illegal activity will be held accountable.
And just one more about this week.
No, we're not going to continue with the questions because it'll be nonstop. All right, we're moving on. First responders on scene after fatal car into store collision in L.A. Man, there's been a lot of weird shit going on in L.A. The last week or two. And This one's definitely interesting. Let's go ahead and see what's happening.
We do want to go back out to the breaking news that we have been following for you of this massive car crash in Los Angeles. It turned deadly, and then they have several others injured. We are getting a news conference going on right now. Let's listen in.
Arrived on scene, we were met by multiple patients. It was a rather active incident, as you can imagine. The first of which was northbound of here. A vehicle had struck a bicyclist, and then as you can see, it's entered the side of that branch market and bakery.
Guy hit a fucking bicyclist first and then ran into the storefront or the grocery store.
Of which there were multiple patrons that were inside seating. Yeah, they all come 5 minutes after this. As of now, we have a total of 9 patients. As you can imagine, this is a dynamic incident.
There was 9 patients. Holy fuck, dude. Oh, that's terrible.
Those numbers may change as the incident grows and de-escalates at the various stages that we're going to go through. Your firefighters arrived very quickly. They set up for immediate triage, treatment, and transportation of these patients. You can see the colored tarps behind us, red, yellow, and green.
It says at least 2 are dead. Man, that's fucking miserable.
Green for immediate, delayed, and minor patients so we could organize this as quick as possible and wrap our hands around it and give the best medical aid as needed. We're concerned about structural stability of that building, so we've called in our heavy rescue and urban search and rescue confined space specialists to assess the structure along with building and safety that is there. Fortunately, that building is not very compromised. It's predominantly a glass front door, and we're...
What's up? We got Brandon Ray in the chat. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. Definitely know that we are. Jimmy Mack gave us an update, by the way. He said 3 passed away. Oh, man, just terrible.
We're going to have it be yellow tagged, not red tagged at this point. More importantly, we had, again, a total of 9 patients here. And tragically, 3 of those individuals were beyond any medical help. Despite our best intentions and our best efforts, they were determined dead on scene. We had 2 other patients that were serious to critical that were quickly transported. An additional 2 patients that will categorize them as having minor injuries, and the last 2 patients that declined any medical transport. So again, at this point, there's a total of 9 patients. We called in for waves of additional ambulances and resources, but at this point, this is becoming more of a static incident. And I do want to state that in working very closely with our law enforcement partners and LAPD, that this does not seem...
Now it does say the update down here, at least 3 dead.
To be of any ill intent, that it does not seem to be an intentional act, but rather it's being investigated so far.
This happened yesterday. To answer when this happened yesterday.
As an accidental traffic collision, and more information will come.
What's up, Brother Dean? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat.
Come out as that's available.
How did exactly happen? Someone told me that this car allegedly hit a lady in a bicycle, and that she allegedly speed up, and this is what happened. Can you tell us about that?
So I would say it's accurate. The preliminary information did state that a bicyclist was struck first, just northbound of her. However, your aspect of it being intentional does not seem to be accurate. Again, this appears to be most likely accidental in nature. It was an elderly female driving of a single vehicle that was a silver-colored sedan that is still inside of that building, and the surrounding circumstances will remain under active investigation.
So sir, are you telling us that basically it appears the elderly driver was trying to swerve out of the way of hitting the bicyclist and ended up losing control of the vehicle and smacking.
So it was an elderly driver that did this?
So the question is if the elderly driver was trying to swerve out of the way of the bicyclist before crashing. We don't know what had happened. All we know is that...
Oh, so it was an elderly woman, or elderly person, I guess.
That elderly driver in that single vehicle did strike a bicyclist. The surrounding circumstances of what led up to that happening, we wouldn't want to speculate. But as there's additional patients along the way, I don't know if more were struck or if the rest of those were all from inside of that.
It totally could have been a medical incident. We have no idea. Yeah, that's totally rough.
Building, but what we do know, again, is a total of 9 patients, 3 that tragically were deceased, 2 that are in serious, at least serious condition, 2 in moderate condition, and 2 that declined transport. Luckily, there was no fire. The structural stability of that building remains intact at this time.
Anybody under the car when you got there?
The question is anybody under the car? Tragically, that's yes. We understood.
Oh, wow. There was somebody underneath the car after the incident happened. And there was somebody underneath that car. Wow. Actively dead, probably.
That people were underneath the vehicle. Firefighters, again, are problem solvers.
He didn't say a person. He said people were under the car. Oh, man.
They came in, were able to remove that vehicle to make access to those patients. We called for waves of additional firefighter paramedics who render immediate medical aid. And again, those 3 were beyond any additional help that we could provide, and we're determined dead.
How is the driver doing? The driver, what's his condition?
The driver is being evaluated right now, has been talking to the police officers and is being compliant and will be evaluated medically.
Elderly female driver, elderly male driver?
It's got to be a medical
elderly
thing.
female driver. Again, a single vehicle.
So it is an elderly female driver, to confirm that.
Colored sedan that's inside of that building at this
What is her condition?
I don't have it at this time, Leo.
And was the bicyclist killed in this horrible accident?
I don't believe so. I believe the 3 deceased were inside or the near vicinity of this building. But again, we're rapidly putting this information together for you. We want you to know what your Los Angeles City Fire Department has done. They arrived very quickly. They tried to make a very organized incident command out of a chaotic situation and to treat the patients as quick as possible and rapidly transport them to emergency.
Of course, man, that is just a miserable situation, though. Prayers out to everybody that's affected out there for any of these stories that we go over. Speaking of, we're going to go into another tragic story here. Police helicopter crashes after shootout in Arizona. It says 2 Arizona Department of Public Safety crew members were killed in a helicopter crash while responding to an active shooting incident in Flagstaff, Arizona, man. Holy shit, man. It's a lot of brutal stuff going on this morning. So anyways, what we should always do, always embrace your fuck up.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
All very true facts. Except you should definitely learn from your past mistakes. You should. You don't want to repeat the same mistake. So, Anyways, we're moving on. Let's go ahead and get into this story.
Live now from Fox. Sticking with Arizona, a devastating story from late last night as 2 individuals were killed in a police helicopter crash late in the evening on Wednesday in Flagstaff, Arizona, while responding to an active shooting incident. And it was a chaotic scene on the ground as officers responded to a domestic violence call when a suspect began firing at police from the...
That's right, Bree. It is extremely inspiring.
Backyard, then proceeded to hop rooftop to engage with police. DPS says a Ranger 56 helicopter crashed while providing tactical support during the active shooting incident. Both the pilot and the trooper and paramedic died on board. For more on this, let's go out right now to Brian Webb with this report.
Night video of the chopper spinning out of control and plunging to the
Here it
ground,
is.
killing 2 people on board. Kathleen has lived in this neighborhood for nearly 20 years.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and back that up. I don't know if this is the only shot we're going to get of this. It looks like there's a lot of other video here, but this may be the only video that was captured of this helicopter crash.
Out of control and plunging to the ground, killing 2 people on board. Kathleen has lived in this neighborhood for nearly 20 years.
And it's shocking when we lose community members who risk their lives to protect us.
The chopper went down at around 10:30, but police say the trouble started earlier with a domestic violence call, followed by a 2-hour shooting spree as the suspect jumped from rooftop to rooftop, firing the entire time.
I get down, and then the guy's like, my hands are up. And then when he said that, 2 seconds later, he rolls over and kind of rolls over the roof, and he runs away, basically.
3 officers and a trooper fired back. The suspect was hit by a bullet, taken to the hospital, and is now in custody. No officers on the ground were hurt, and the domestic violence victim is okay.
These officers... It was like a fucking asteroid fucking hitting the earth, man. Yeah, that shit was going down quick. It didn't... There was no, kind of grace, there. It just went boom, like gravity took a hold of it for real.
Valor and their heroic behavior resulted in us putting ourselves between that gunfire and this victim and rescuing her to safety.
The chopper was on the scene to help police during the chaos until it crashed at 10:27 p.m. Investigators don't know what went wrong, but the impact is being felt far beyond the crash site.
Please keep our personnel, their families, and all those that have been impacted in your thoughts and prayers.
So I'm just hoping it's still somebody I personally knew, and I'm just praying for the families. It's just it's tragic.
All right, just a very sad story north of Phoenix, kind of in that northern Arizona area. Obviously very mountainous, but a tragedy unfolding overnight as 2 individuals were killed. They're responding to this chaotic scene. Let's take you right now out to this press conference from earlier in Flagstaff, Arizona, as officials describing what was unfolding late last night in that area.
And we'll listen to a little bit of this, but we're going to move on because we still got a handful of things to get to. Let me fast forward a little bit.
Coming out, I do appreciate it. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Warren Trent. I'm the Public Information Manager for the Arizona Department of Public Safety. I'm here to introduce Colonel Jeffrey Glover, Director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety. He'll make a few remarks. He will not be taking any questions.
Good morning, everyone.
Hell yeah. Very much appreciate that, by the way, for the subscription. Listen, this is what we do Monday through Friday, and then we have members only on Saturday mornings. So make sure if you guys there was a lot of gifted memberships this week. If you guys got one, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time or I guess 11 Eastern, right? Yes, we have a great time. So we consolidate everything into a single hour. And usually if I go over if we go over, it's like 15 minutes. So we consolidate a whole bunch of stories into a single hour.
Just for a quick moment, I just want to have a brief moment of silence for our fallen. Thank you very much. Late yesterday evening, at approximately 10:17 p.m., an Arizona Department of Public Safety helicopter was involved in an accident near Flagstaff below the Loyal Observatory. The helicopter and crew known as Ranger 56 departed Western Air Rescue in Kingman and were responding to a call for service to assist the Flagstaff Police Department with an active shooter incident. At the time of the incident, there were 2 DPS personnel on board, a pilot and a trooper paramedic. Unfortunately, both are tragically deceased. Our
terrible fucking news.
Immediate priority is the safety, care, and well-being of our personnel.
But at least if they had to go out, it's better that it happens there kind of on the scene, to be quite honest, and not try, where you're barely alive, you get to the hospital and then you die like 2 days later. It's just miserable, man.
We're working closely with our state, local, and federal public safety partners and aviation authorities, including the FAA and NTSB.
Well, prayers to the families, man, and all the people that were affected by that. That's just terrible. All right, so we do have another story that happened down there in the Eastern Pacific regarding a, quote, drug boat. So 2 killed after U.S. forces strike alleged drug boat in Eastern Pacific. Yesterday, the U.S. Southern Command, obviously on Thursday, confirmed another strike on alleged drug boat in the Eastern Pacific, which killed 2 people. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will go ahead and discuss it here, and we'll figure out the situation.
All right, you're watching
a quick
live
update.
Now. We are getting some breaking news. U.S. Southcom is sending this out on social media, saying that they have targeted and conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by designated terrorist organizations. They say intelligence...
What's up, my man Stacks? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far.
...confirmed that the vessel was transiting along known narco-terrorist routes in the Eastern Pacific, and it was engaged in narco-trafficking operations. Southcom says 2 narco-terrorists were killed during the action, and no U.S. military forces were harmed. This is a video that they sent out along with the post, and I'll just underscore something that they write in the post. This is the Eastern Pacific. This is not in the Caribbean. The majority of the strikes that we've seen in recent months have been taking place in the Caribbean, off the coast of countries like Venezuela. This one on the other side, the Eastern Pacific. This lethal strike being carried out and being posted on social media just moments ago. We will let you know if we learn any more about this strike. What we do know for now is that U.S. Southcom says 2 people were killed as a result of the strike. It was conducted by Commander General Francis Donovan with Joint Task Force Southern Spear against a vessel operated by what Southcom says is a designated terrorist organization.
Shit. All right, we're going to move on swiftly. We've got Nancy Guthrie search. We have an update on this as of this morning, 3 hours ago. Feds make arrest, and there is a new ransom letter. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will figure out the situation here.
We are also learning a man with ties
What
to
the
Los
fuck is that thing? Holy shit, dude. What?
Why are you gay?
What the fuck?
Angeles was arrested and charged federally for allegedly contacting relatives of Nancy Guthrie. According to court documents obtained by Fox 11 just yesterday, Derek Calleja is facing federal charges over allegations of reaching out to Nancy Guthrie's relatives asking about the ransom. Now, we also do have another post here from TMZ that I wanted to see if we could get up on our screen here, as we were hearing from Harvey Levin, who is the founder of TMZ. He was speaking to Sean Hannity just the other night, providing new information about a ransom note his newsroom received in the case of Nancy Guthrie. And Levin outlined that while an initial Thursday deadline for the alleged ransom note had passed, a second Monday deadline is far more consequential. And you can see on your screen there just a snippet of what Levin said. I do want to read just a portion of it to you. It says, I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared. And they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is. They are
Okay, well, what the fuck is the demand?
through us telling the family exactly what they are demanding. They are saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying that this will be their only communication and that they are done communicating and negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it. As the clock ticks, that's one of the reasons the FBI and other authorities have gotten desperate here, because as far as we can tell, it's impossible to trace the origin of this email. I will say there are real reasons based on what's written here that I believe the person is within the radius of the Tucson area. So,
okay, well, what the fuck are the demands?
Again, appearing on Sean Hannity's show there on Fox News just last night, sharing that information here with us. Now, we also do know that Savannah Guthrie's brother renewed the family's plea for their mother's kidnapper to contact them hours after an Arizona sheriff said investigators don't have proof Nancy Guthrie is alive, but, quote, believe she is still out there.
See, I totally believe something like that. That's what I was waiting to see. What is the fucking demand?
I quickly wanted to share that video here with you right now.
Demand of Bitcoin. Interesting.
This is Cameron Guthrie.
It makes sense, though, why they would try to use Bitcoin in this situation.
I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward.
What's up, brother So Loud from the Boondocks of North Carolina? Shout out to my man.
But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Well, shit. That's terrible. All right, we're going to move on. U.S.-Iran nuclear talks cleared the first hurdle and, quote, good start. And I'm not sure who actually quoted the good start thing. I'm assuming somebody from the Trump administration. It says the United States and Iran held indirect talks in Oman on Friday regarding Tehran's nuclear program, which is Iran, by the way, months after U.S. airstrikes targeted Iran's uranium enrichment sites and just weeks after nationwide protests shook the Islamic Republic. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this up properly for you guys so you can see what we're talking about, and we'll get right into it.
And of course, the big story we're following here today, Oman-mediated indirect.
And this is the big story today.
Talks begin today between Iran and the United States over Tehran's nuclear program.
Now, mind you, this just came out like an hour or two ago.
With convoys for the two countries arriving for meetings separately with Oman's top diplomat. There was no immediate comment from either the Iranian or the American sides. The convoy left after some time to return the Iranians to their nearby hotel. Only after the Iranian vehicles left did another convoy, including an SUV flying the American flag, enter the palace grounds. It stayed there for about an hour and a half before leaving. Now, U.S. officials like Secretary of State Marco Rubio believe Iran's theocracy is now at its weakest point since its 1979 Islamic Revolution, after nationwide protests last month represented the greatest challenge to Iran's supreme leader. His forces responded with a bloody crackdown that killed thousands and reportedly saw tens of thousands arrested.
Which we were discussing yesterday. We had discussed the massive numbers, thousands of people being killed in Iran for protesting, but I didn't even think about how many people were getting arrested. And it's tens of thousands of fucking people were being arrested, which doesn't surprise me. I just didn't think about it because I was kind of too focused on the lives at the moment. You know what I mean?
And spurred new military threats by President Trump.
Yo, real quick, we got brother Steve Easy coming in for the 25 fucking months saying FTW. Absolutely. Great to see it, bro. Fuck the world, forever two wheels, my man. Very much appreciate that for the 25 months. Great to see you.
To target the country. With the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and other warships in the region, along with more fighter jets, the U.S. now likely has the military firepower to launch an attack if it wanted to. But whether attacks could be enough.
What's up, a Gorilla Piss?
To force Iran to change its ways or potentially topple its government remains far from a sure thing. I wanted to bring in Jonathan Saei. He is the Iran Program Research Analyst with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies to break this down for us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan. We appreciate you joining, as always, here on Live Now from Fox.
Hi, it's great to be with you.
I wanted to start with this. Why is Oman once again the go-between for the U.S. and Iran? And what does that tell us about how fragile these talks really are?
So the most interesting thing about Tehran changing the venue last minute, the idea was initially to have it in Turkey, but they actually moved it to Oman. And that signals one major thing, that Tehran only wants to speak with the United States. They do not want to engage our allies in the region, which also means they do not want to talk about other factors that implicate our allies going beyond just nuclear or ballistic missiles. They realistically do not want to talk about proxies. But more importantly, talking about what exactly happened in Oman. I think Secretary Rubio's statement really speaks loudly that there is no country that he's familiar with that there's this much of a divide between its ruling apparatus and its people. Given that following Operation Midnight Hammer, we were able to disrupt Iranian enrichment, and given the sheer scale of the crackdown, it's debatable whether these negotiations actually should have a purpose to begin with. Tehran doesn't have any cards anymore.
Right. And I also wanted to share this here, and this leads into my next question. This was a post here from President Trump to Truth Social overnight. It's lengthy, but I do want to read it. It says, "The United States is the most powerful country in the world. I completely rebuilt its military in my first term, including new and many refurbished nuclear weapons. I also added Space Force and now continue to rebuild our military at levels never seen before. We are even adding battleships, which are 100 times more powerful than the ones that roamed the seas during World War II. He then goes on to say there, rather than extend New START, a badly negotiated deal by the United States that, aside from everything else, is being grossly violated, we should have our nuclear experts work on a new, improved, and modernized treaty that can last long into the future. Thank you for your attention to this matter." So
be good out there, Frank. We'll see you on the flip side. Be safe out there. Enjoy your Friday.
wanted to ask you, Jonathan, the president putting this out just hours really before these talks set to start. What do you make of that post?
The crucial messaging from this administration has been that the diplomatic avenues are always open. It's a matter of whether Tehran will provide concessions or not. This treaty, if it were to be enacted, would effectively require the Islamic Republic to change its behavior. So the anti-Americanism, anti-Israeli sentiment, support for terror networks, these are factors that are ingrained in the Islamic Republic's DNA. So any treaty might delay this strategy by the Islamic Republic, but realistically, you're not going to get regime change from such an institution that really not only oppresses its own people en masse, but also has made anti-American sentiment a foundational pillar. They've been responsible for the death of thousands of U.S. personnel across the region. They have ties to all terror networks. Not to mention, they actually sought to assassinate the president. So the question really is, can we get them to change their behavior? Has the maximum pressure weakened them enough to the point of collapse? Yes, absolutely, but their behavior hasn't changed. So really the focus should be on leveraging the people against the regime apparatus in this context.
Okay, so real quick, we have a lot of updates coming in as of right now. I'm getting this ready for both, both of these stories, because we're going to do these two stories in particular because it is important, and then we're going to get, out of here. But anyways, this is a very interesting development coming out right now. Benghazi attack suspect arrested, DOJ says. Pam Bondi comes out with everybody, and that's going to be interesting. We're about to play that for you. And then we also have Iran reconstructs its nuclear and missile programs. It says additional report, or the report is additional U.S.-Iran talks expected within days. And that just came out 6 minutes ago. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into this. Unfortunately, we're going to run a little long today because two big stories just came out right now. So here we go.
On September 11th, 2012, Americans watched horrified as our embassy in Benghazi came under a vicious terror attack. We lost 4 American lives that day: Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith with the State Department, and 2 CIA contractors, Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods. We have never forgotten those heroes, and we have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation. In fact, from day one, Cash and Dan would sit in meetings and say, we're going to get them, and they did. Today, I'm proud to announce that the FBI has arrested one of the key participants behind the Benghazi attack. Zubair al-Bakash landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 a.m. this morning. He is in our custody. He was greeted by Director Patel and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. Hillary Clinton famously once said about Benghazi, what difference at this point does it make? Well, it
Hell yeah, brother Steve Easy. We'll see on the flip side as well.
makes a difference to Donald Trump. It makes a difference to those families. And 14 years later, it makes a difference to law enforcement who made the difference in this case. Thank you, President Trump, for supporting all of our agencies around the country and around the world. Al-Bakash will now face American justice on American soil. We will prosecute this alleged terrorist to the fullest extent of the law.
Shit.
He'll face charges related to murder, terrorism, arson, among others. Let this case serve as a reminder. If you commit a crime against the American people anywhere in this world, President Trump's Justice Department will find you. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. You can run, but you cannot hide. We are immensely grateful to our partners, especially at the State Department and the CIA, who lost lives in the Benghazi attack. Director Patel and the FBI agents did tireless work to track and arrest this man. I want to thank everyone standing behind me, all the agents who worked so great with our lawyers, with our national security lawyers, and around the world to bring this terrorist to justice. And I have a statement to read from Director Radcliffe. He wanted to be here. He couldn't be here. He's busy protecting our world. He's deeply grateful for the relentless efforts of the Department of Justice and the FBI to bring justice to the individual allegedly responsible for the death of Americans in the horrific 2012 Benghazi attack. CIA and the nation will never forget the extraordinary services and sacrifices of Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty, who gave their lives in defense of others and exemplified the very best of our agency. I'd now like to turn it over to Director Patel for remarks, and I again want to thank him for his relentless work in this case.
General, real quick, while he's coming up there, make sure you guys hit the like button, by the way. We've got 204 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you. And I want to steal one of your lines. Never forget. Pam never forgot. The president never forgot. This FBI never forgot. And certainly U.S. Attorney Pirro never forgot. When an act of terrorism of this magnitude strikes at the heart of our nation, we go to work. President Trump has given us the full resources at the FBI and across the interagency to make sure we deliver justice. And Pam, you're right. Dan and I did sit down early on about this to bring justice, but you led the effort. You brought together the interagency. You said we are going to get this done because no one agency alone can do it. So we are thankful to have an Attorney General at the Department of Justice who works together with every single cabinet secretary and enforce the law. What you saw today, and I want to get, or what you're going to see today, I want to address it in a minute, but I want to remind the folks out there the work of this Department of Justice. We were here just a few short months ago talking about how we were going to raise the RFJ for another violent offender on the run, Ryan Wedding. And what did we do under Attorney General's leadership? And what did we do when President Trump said, go get the worst of the worst? We captured him. We captured together, under President Trump's leadership, 6 of the FBI's most wanted fugitives in 1 calendar year. To put that in perspective, that is 2 more than the entirety of the prior administration. And you cannot do that alone at the FBI. You have to have an attorney general and a Department of Justice willing to prosecute, willing to go to the four corners of the earth and make sure we deliver justice. And that's what we're doing here today. I was at the airfield with U.S. Attorney Pirro earlier this morning when we did the formal foreign transfer of custody of Bakush into U.S. custody to face prosecution under her auspices and her office. And the Department of Justice are going to execute justice for the fallen. As a young prosecutor at CTS, the National Security Division, I worked on the Benghazi case. This was very near and dear and personal to me. We lost 4 brave Americans in Chris, Sean, Kyle, and Steve. And we can never, ever, ever forget them. Ever. And we will not. In order to put something like this together, it doesn't happen overnight. The FBI's hostage rescue team, the FBI's critical incident response group, our special flight operations unit, and countless others, along with the agents in the New York field office who never forgot Benghazi and never let the world forget it, endured over a decade to bring yet another terrorist who killed 4 Americans to justice.
Okay, in all fairness, everybody, in all fairness, he is sniffling doing that whole thing, but I do have it on 1.25 times playback speed because we try to consolidate everything as quickly as possible. So, anyways.
That is a relentless...
I can't hang. I don't have patience like that. I've got to, like, boom, 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 into the next story kind of thing.
Pursuit of mission. That can only happen when you have an interagency who's willing to get after it. I'm extremely thankful to the CIA Director Ratcliffe and our other law enforcement partners for making sure that the world knows that if you kill an American citizen in an act of terrorism, we will hunt you down. We will bring you to justice, and you will face justice here in America, not in another court and not in any other proceeding around the world, but here. You killed our own, so we are going to take it to the streets to make sure you are held accountable. Once again, I'd really like to thank the entirety of the FBI, headquarters divisions. There are so many moving pieces to actually execute a foreign transfer of custody. And now we're talking about the 7th, the 3rd in just a couple of weeks. And I don't know if that has ever happened before in U.S. history. It's happening because President Trump backs the blue. President Trump has given law enforcement the resources we need to take the fight across the world. And the Attorney General has been relentless in her mission to make sure that these victims are remembered and that we bring them some semblance of peace by bringing those who killed their loved ones to justice. It's a little full circle for me. Yes, then Director Deputy Bongino and I did sit down and said, how are we going to get this guy? How are we going to find the individual responsible for the Benghazi attacks? And we sat down with Janine Pirro, and we sat down with the AG and her team and the Deputy Attorney General. And every single day, every single week, we talked about how we would do it. And we're here today because we have an interagency that is led by superior individuals who have one shared goal: protecting America and our lives and our future. And to any others out there who wish to do harm, especially commit acts of terrorism here and around the world, this is the feat you will meet. You will not be forgotten by us. We will chase you down. And it is a privilege and an honor to be the director of the FBI and come full circle for me, especially on this Benghazi case, especially with the families I know so well. And for me to you, the families, I just want to personally say, I continue to pray for you. I hope that we can give you a little bit of peace in the utmost difficult of times when you have lost loved ones. And I just want to thank President Trump for delivering that peace and that modicum of justice.
All right, real quick. Let's see if they have... I don't need to hear this lady over here speak. Honestly, she kind of... Her voice irks me. All right, so they're going to take questions and all that here in a minute as well, and we're not going to do any of that. We're going to move on into Iran reconstructs its nuclear and missile program. So let's go ahead and bring that up. And my camera just glitched. I hate that shit. Let me reset. Yeah, that shit is so fucking whack when that does that. It's like a lag spike. It's really weird. Anyways, here we go.
We watch all of this develop. There is so much to it. And I do want to bring in a good friend of the show here. We do have Javed Ali. He is an associate professor of practice at the University of Michigan's Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy. He's also held positions in the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to join us here and help break down what is kind of a big back and forth as things keep changing pretty much from hour to hour.
Yeah, Josh, always great to be with you this morning.
And I wanted to start by talking about the fact that we learned here, these were not direct face-to-face talks with the U.S. and Iran. Instead, it was like one by one. You had the U.S. meeting with those officials in Oman, and then you had the Iranian officials meeting with those from Oman. So overall, kind of explain to me what that says to you.
So, Josh, the way the meetings have played out now, based on the reporting that you mentioned, is pretty interesting, because in the run-up to today, it sounded like both Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi were going to meet face-to-face. First, the meeting location was Istanbul, Turkey, and then they got moved to Oman, and now the meeting has occurred, and they did not actually meet face to face with the Omani foreign minister serving as an intermediary between both sides. So not that that is unusual in diplomacy. I mean, that type of negotiation can happen, but given the buildup to the stakes perhaps involved in whatever comes forward out of these negotiations, or if they completely collapse altogether, I would have thought they would have met face to face, but that clearly didn't happen. So now we're gonna have to see if there are more meetings, will they meet face to face, or will they still be in the sort of shuttle diplomacy, even if they're in the same building or same location?
And of course, will it be in Oman again? Will they go to Istanbul? There's so many questions about what could happen next. But also I wanted to ask you here, because the American convoy was there at the palace for about maybe 90 minutes or so, an hour and a half. Where does that kind of play into all of this? Because we're talking about a meeting that isn't super short, but it's also not very long.
Yeah, the 90 minutes on the ground for, again, a meeting that potentially has serious implications, or if a deal doesn't happen, has serious implications. I mean, we could potentially read something into that, but I would have to imagine in those 90 minutes that once Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner got out of the car and into the whatever room they were supposed to be in with the Omani foreign minister, they put their positions on the table, and I would have to imagine we're pretty clear about these are the starting points of the U.S. Demands that now Iran is going to have to consider, and then theoretically, if that was a sequence of events, then those positions were communicated separately to the Iranian delegation led by the foreign minister when they got there, and it may have been some time after Witkoff and Kushner left. I don't even know if they were together physically in the palace. One side may have left before the other actually got there.
And again, you are taking this live look right now, nightfall, of course, in Oman as the talks are officially over for the day. But we don't really have an indication necessarily of how the talks went, correct?
Right, but we do know that they're at least expected to talk again within days.
That's still a bit unclear, but literally just before coming on, I caught wind of some reporting from other networks suggesting that, or indicating that the Iranian foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, stated that he thought the talks, or the discussions, even if they weren't face-to-face, were productive. Now, is that an accurate reflection of what actually happened?
It says here, U.S. and Iran plan to continue nuclear talks after first round in Oman. Wow.
As the Omani foreign minister was trying to sort of take one side set of points and deliver them to the other side. Maybe was it more sort of trying to put a spin on something that may not actually be an accurate reflection of reality? We also don't know that. I also don't think the Iranian foreign minister would put out something like that if the supreme leader of Iran, who, as we've talked about in multiple conversations, always sort of calls the shots and the overall direction of Iranian foreign policy and national security strategy. So with that kind of statement, I would have to believe the supreme leader must have approved it before it went out as well.
One thing that you and I have already discussed, but I want to get your take for folks who didn't see that. We know just days ago, the U.S. Shooting down the Iranian drone that was kind of flying over the U.S.
And everyone was concerned about, well, will this end the nuclear talks here? Will it jeopardize everything? Will we now go bomb the shit out of them? I mean, we were all questioning that.
SS Abraham Lincoln. There was also another situation where it appeared that maybe a drone and some other Iranian vessels there were trying to take over a U.S. vessel. So break down for me what role maybe that all could play in the talks, because you have to imagine that came up in some form or fashion.
Of course it did.
So the events of the past week with what's been reported as a drone shoot down by U.S. aircraft, and then the probing by Iranian speedboats against an oil tanker, and then that oil tanker was then given sort of protection by U.S. ships in the Arabian Gulf. As we talked about then, I thought those were more sort of probing activities by the Iranian military, not designed to actually launch an attack. In the drone, it sounds like it was shot down at a distance from the Abraham Lincoln, so it did not get close. And in these naval operations,
no, you're good, Shane. Don't worry about it, homie.
For the United States,
you can spurg out if you want.
Even though we have an aircraft carrier and 3 destroyers as part of that carrier battle group or strike group, that there's always what's called a combat air patrol up, where there are aircraft launched from that aircraft carrier that can shoot down any objects, whether they're planes, missiles, drones, at quite a distance. So I don't know how far off the bow of the Abraham Lincoln that drone was shot down, but it wasn't like it was loitering right over it or wasn't in a position to actually launch some kind of attack.
All right, so let's see if there's any actual other updates like tweets. There is a little something here, so let's go ahead and figure out what this is real quick before we close this out. Here we go.
I want to pop this up on your screen. This is actually coming in from Jennifer Griffin over at Fox News right now, as she says Iran is at work on missile and nuclear sites. Satellite images show via New York Times, quote, Mr. Rogers cautioned that Iran still has a stockpile of enriched uranium, the fuel that is closest to being turned into bomb-grade material. U.S. and Israeli intelligence suggests that the enriched uranium buried at the 3 sites struck in June remains in place, apparently buried and untouched. Again, that is coming in from the New York Times, and a photo, or several photos there, posted by Jennifer Griffin over at Fox News. We'll keep you.
Of course, and this is what we do Monday through Friday, man. So listen, tomorrow morning obviously is not going to be, reporting on world news, geopolitics, American news, American politics. Tomorrow is going to be members only. We always have a great-ass time. Make sure you guys tune up. If you guys are members, I very much appreciate it, by the way. Thank you to all of you guys engaged in the chat, as well as hitting that like button, double tapping the screen if you're on the vertical side. Listen, make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be rating a streamer named Orthodox Guy. Make sure you guys let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball / Insane Wheels raid. And listen, until tomorrow morning, unfortunately, we're not doing, World's Madness until Monday. But much love, honor, respect to everybody. And God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. And stay warm, stay safe out there. All the good shit. And we'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on 2 wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, Insane Wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane.